We used oyster catchers for a number of reasons. I mean, taking on any pitch, but particularly the pitch that we were engaged in, is a huge task. Huge amount of resource, time, money and effort. I think also the consequences of the final decision that you make, you are going to live with for the next kind of 5 years. And in our case, it was a prize of around kind of 35, 40 million pounds. So on that basis, I think the question for me was, why wouldn't I use a specialist? The agency world is a very fluid world, and because I don't read campaign week in, week out, I feel that I'm not as close to it. Therefore, I felt that we needed someone who has an intimate knowledge, a forensic knowledge of all the changes that happen on a day-to-day, week-by-week basis that could really help us identify who would be the best people to partner up with. I really enjoyed the whole process, and as someone who has worked on a number of pitches, it's not always a enjoyable process. And I think what oyster catchers were able to bring is that they were able to bring not only a sense of professionalism, but also a sense of fun. I think the one thing that really, really impressed me about them as a business and their approach was that they were able to bring the best out of every single agency. And therefore, that meant that oyster catchers played a number of different roles, both internally with myself and my colleagues, but also externally with each and every agency. So there might just be a facilitator of a meeting. It might be an agitator in a meeting, really being a catalyst for debate. It might be being a mentor for a smaller agency, really putting an arm around them to kind of help them through something. And then internally being a moderator, because we all have a different point of view, whether that's creatively or strategically. And I think oyster catchers were really able to help us get the best out of ourselves and out of the agencies who were engaged in this process. I think the big difference between other intermediaries that I've worked with and oyster catchers is that I felt that oyster catchers spent time to really understand our business and our challenges. So right at the start of the process, we spent a lot of time really crafting out what would be the brief, how that would link from comms objectives to marketing objectives to business objectives. And throughout the whole process, not just holding our hand, if you like, but really guiding us. So I felt that they were very much an extension of my team, and for that I'm really, really thankful. I think the client-agency relationship question is quite an interesting conundrum. I think from an agency side, I think it's about really understanding what drives the business, and it's understanding that link that leads from business objectives, challenges, problems, issues, into marketing and then into comms. So if you can get to the heart of really what is driving the concern of a client and what really kind of keeps them up at night, then I think that will help you give a complete and holistic response to any brief that might come your way, whether that's small, medium or large. I think from a client point of view, it's about understanding that it is a partnership. It's not a supplier relationship. And if we just think about the word relationship, it's about trust, it's about integrity, and it's about respect for both parties. And I think if you're able to encourage that type of thinking throughout the whole of both teams, not just at the top, but in the middle and at the bottom, then I think that is a good recipe for success. At Virgin Media, we operate in a very noisy neighbourhood. We are a technological leader. We have some formidable competitors with huge advertising budgets, and things can change day by day very, very quickly. So for me, it's about trying to create and set the conditions by which my people and the agencies that I work with can flourish. I think success can be categorised into 3 different areas. I think there's business success, and that's ARPU, net ads, OCF. I think there's marketing success, and for me that's winning an IPA Gold with regards to campaign effectiveness. And there's personal success, and for me that is creating a conversation as a result of my campaign or a campaign that we might produce. That might be in the pub, or that might be online, but ultimately it'll be my mum phoning up saying, "I like your ads." It was great working with Peter. Peter has been in the business a long time, therefore he has a huge number of contacts. Therefore, that kind of reassured us that we were picking the right long list and then eventually the right shortlist and then eventually the right agency. I think also because he is a seasoned pro, he wasn't backward in coming forward when he entered in some of the quite challenging debates we had over agencies, over strategy and over creative work. And finally, he's got a great sense of humour. So actually, when things got a little bit too tough, we'd spent long, long days together. He was able just to lighten the tone, and at the end of the day, we could just go out for a friendly pint of beer. I guess the only question mark I'd have over oyster catchers will be, when's Peter going to take me out to lunch?